Hey guys, just want to do a little video today for you to go through the true cost of owning a Harley-Davidson and what the numbers really break down to. So I've already customized my motorcycle to some degree, so I'm going to break down the parts costs, I'm going to break down the surcharges that are going on right now because of the lack of availability in parts, and freight costs, setup fees, all that stuff. So a lot of times people will get distracted by the fact that this motorcycle costs here $21,749. But even on Harley-Davidson's website, if you scroll down further down to the bottom, $21,749, by the way, was, the price point that lured a lot of people in, and I mean, sounds pretty good. And do keep in mind that any new bike that you buy right now is going to have like some of these pricing issues like surcharges. Freight's always pretty standard. It's always going to get tacked onto the price of the bike. So when you're buying these bikes, just remember, right now at least, freight, surcharge, setup fee, and then tax title license at the end. So let's go into the pricing. So for the Vivid Black, which is the bike that I bought, again, base MSRP is $21,749. If you do the upgrade, here it is at that gunship gray at $22,199. I'm not going to price that out, that's not what I have, but there's an added cost there. So if we come down to, again, here's the freight charge. So you're going to have $600 tacked onto that $21,749 and then $750 tacked on above that. So once you get those numbers down, so on any bike you go to, so again, here we are at the Lowrider ST. If we just priced out a touring motorcycle, like let's go ahead and do the Street Glide ST. Depending on the version of bike that you buy, whether it's like a Softail or a touring motorcycle, the surcharge changes and so does the freight based on weight, size, all that stuff. So again, you can see that 575 is added here because of the gunship gray. Go back to black. Here again starts at $29.99. If we scroll down to the page here, let's go to pricing. Here you can see, again, Vivid Black at $29.99. If you are going with the RDRS system, it's another $1,000 tacked on. A lot of people like that option. So right out of the gate, you're already over $31,000. Tack on freight for extra $750, and then surcharge on these is $1,000. So really, even if you weren't gonna roll with the RDRS, you're really looking at close to $32,000 before tax title license on a Street Glide ST. So just keep that in mind. So for anybody who's new to Harley or is looking to get into motorcycling or is interested in a touring motorcycle, I mean, $32,000 is a pretty steep cost. Not that I'm not gonna argue whether it's good or bad. I'm just kind of describing what the prices are. So now that I've kind of showed you Harley's website and the prices that you should be looking at, I'm going to go through what I paid so that everybody can see. I'm going to be as transparent as possible as to what a Lowrider ST, after everything is said and done, after all the upgrades that I have, are, what that costs. And it might surprise you. So here is the spreadsheet that I have. Again, I have it in Vivid Black, so $21,749 is the base MSRP, $600 added in freight, the $750 surcharge, $1,000. I'm guessing this is dealer dependent. Some dealerships will waive this fee. Previous bikes I've purchased, I've been able to buy at base price or lower, so lower than MSRP, because the market wasn't as crazy as it is right now. But unfortunately, with the way parts are, the way the shortages are, how new this bike is, how hard it is to get, you're really not going to find a dealer that's going to be willing to let it go. At least I would expect this. That's not willing to let it go for anything below MSRP or what I'm showing you here. So some other people talked about how dealerships were asking close to $30,000 for this motorcycle. I would never deal with a dealership that was going to go anything above MSRP. So this is exactly what I paid for the bike. So again, base price, freight, surcharge, setup fee. I paid the setup fee. It's $1,000. There was no way I was getting around that with this motorcycle. If it had been maybe a special or something like that, they may have cut that price. But just know with some of these newer motorcycles that's going to be something that you're going to need to pay for. And most every dealer I've ever dealt with has some sort of setup fee attached. But again, it's kind of the way the times are kind of thing. I haven't always paid that. So total price before tax, title, license is $24,100. So again, you might be brought in under this guise that you're going to pay $21,749, but you can see right out of the gate, even before tax, title, license, you're already at over $24,000. So that's the reality. That's the real price of this bike before any mods. It's just a stock lowrider ST right off the showroom floor, and then based on where you live will determine, tax, title, license and whatnot. So here in Wisconsin, we have a sales tax of 5.5%, and then I tacked on an extra 0.5% for a total of 6% total over the cost. So out the door, I was just over $25,400. That's almost 100% spot on. I'm sure the 6% is guesstimating a little bit. There's probably a few dollars and cents here and there that I'm not accounting for, either less or more. But ultimately, I'd say $25,000 out the door is a realistic number for the lowrider ST. So after that, I'm sure if you've been looking around, I've got the whole spreadsheet available for you to look at here. You can clearly see that at the bottom we're already at close to $30,000 on this motorcycle, and this isn't even a full touring motorcycle. So again, for some people that's fine. It's just, again, I want to be transparent with what things really cost. So I'm just going to go through all the upgrades that I've made to the bike so far, and some of these upgrades I would say are a necessity, at least for me they are, and other things are just kind of preference. So it's not necessarily something everybody's going to buy, but for me, everything that I put on the bike I feel to some degree is a necessity, or I think the way Harley has certain things set up stock is just like so disgusting that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to replace that. So the first thing is the 10-inch HD windshield. I did see a video by another YouTuber that finally got a hold of a Clockworks one, which I didn't know how long that was going to take for Clockworks to get the new windshields for the lowrider ST under their belt. So I ended up paying $200 for that, and all these are before tax, so it's just $200 out the door. And I know that some of these parts are going for more now, just based on lack of availability. So it might be $210 or something like that. I've seen that the lowrider ST Rockford Fosgate audio system is already going for over $1,000. It's no longer $999.99. It's somewhere over like $1049, something like that. So anyway, so $200 is what I paid for that. Front LED turn signals, rear LED turn signals. Again, something we all wish Harley would just do out of the box, especially when you're paying $25,000 for the motorcycle. You would hope that they would just have LEDs, but Harley's still not doing that, so that was a necessary upgrade for me. Kahuna grips, I went with the heated ones. Again, that's not a necessity. It was just more of, I like the way the Kahunas look and feel, and I also like having heated grips on my bike. I did have the dealer install this, so this is something you could probably, if you were willing to do the install yourself, it's not that complicated. But while it was at the dealer and it was getting set up with the exhaust, I just said, you know what, throw the Kahuna grips on as well. And so they charge you an arm and a leg. I think Harley here is like $110 an hour in labor. It probably took them 10 minutes to throw those grips on, but they charge 3 hours worth of labor, so $350. Crazy, I know, but yeah, that's something I'm accounting for here. Saddleman step-up seat, those are $449.99 right out of the gate, so they go higher than that. I think you might be able to find them on sale for like around $400-ish. You might be able to buy them used for in the 300s. They're a pretty nice seat. If there's a sale or something out there, I could see getting it for less than $400. But I bought mine brand new straight from the dealer. It was $450, and I know for like the San Diego Customs version of it, it goes up to like $650. I can't remember the exact number, but I have had that seat before, and it was in the $600 range. So again, seats are expensive, so Saddlemen especially, but for good reason. They're good quality product. Next thing is my TBR 2-in-1 Compass exhaust. I believe on previous motorcycle I paid $799.99 for that exhaust. I'm guessing with shortages, manufacturers have bumped up the cost of their exhaust as well. So in TBR's case, it was an extra $100, so I paid $899.99 or $900. And I also had that installed right at the dealer. I have installed my own exhaust previously, but I just wanted to get the bike in there, get the exhaust thrown on, get the grips thrown on, not have to worry about any headaches that I might run into, and have it all done. And that way when I picked it up, it was just ready to go, basically. So did that. So again, they charged another 3 hours of labor on that as well, which was $350. So you can save your money there. I mean, just out of the two things that have already cost labor, that's $700 worth of savings. So if you get to the end of this video and you're like, hey, you know, where can I save some money if you want to do all the work yourself? Well, there you go. Next thing is I did the Flow Motorsports MX pegs on, for me, the rider pegs, not the passenger pegs. So that's what I put on maybe a month after owning the bike. Love them, $168 out the door. So yeah, that's good. HD passenger mounts, if you buy them from Harley-Davidson, I believe they're closer to $100, maybe even more than that, but I found a good deal online. You could probably cheap out on these and buy like a pair of $20 ones from Amazon. I didn't go that cheap, but I went with the $50 versions. They look exactly the same. They have the same mechanism. They're not really a complicated part or anything. But yeah, so I spent $50 there. Joker Machine passenger floorboards, I talked about those in a previous video. Those were about $200. The laydown plate, I bought that straight from the dealer. Probably could save some money if you bought that from any of these things, really. You could probably save some money if you went to like a Revzilla or something like that. Edward Ritchie Sissy Bar, I actually bought that for my previous Lowrider S. I had a 2020 Lowrider S. Bought it for $250. As far as I can tell, the prices are going up, and those are built by Edward Ritchie, so you buy direct from him. And I think they're back ordered, at least when I bought mine, it was back ordered out like 2 months. So I'd owned my bike for quite a while, and by the time the back order was over and it shipped it to me, I had already sold the motorcycle, so it kind of hung out in my garage for a while. So, but Edward Ritchie, I think the prices are going up. I don't know exactly, but I paid $250. That was 2 years ago, so it might be $300 now, or it might be less, who knows. Drag Specialties, the passenger pad, so that's the pad that sits, you know, that triangle pad that sits kind of in between the sissy bar. Bought that straight from Drag Specialties for $83, and then here comes the total. So I haven't done anything super crazy to my motorcycle. It doesn't have so many mods to it that it looks like it looks stock in a lot of ways. So even though it looks stock, I mean, there's clearly some updates that I've done here, and there's still a lot more that needs to be done just for my own preference. But we're already at the $3,500-ish mark, and that's before tax. So parts total after tax was $3,765.30, bringing the total amount of money into the bike at $29,169.24. Beyond that, as with any vehicle, you're going to pay for service. You're going to pay, you might do your own maintenance, that's fine. You're going to pay for your oil, you're going to pay for your filters, you're going to pay for new tires. Motorcycle tires, in my experience, generally wear out faster than a car's tires. I would say I ride them harder as well, so that definitely is an attributing factor to that. So all the standard maintenance things that you would do with a new car are things you're going to do with your motorcycle. And with gas prices right now, the Lowrider ST I fill up with premium. I think the highest I've paid is like $5.70 a gallon. I know that varies from state to state and from, you know, zip code to zip code, but I don't run anything but premium. So on top of that, while motorcycles generally get better gas mileage, I think the 117 and the 114 are kind of in like the 30 to 40 mpg range. I'm sure as you get out on the highway with a touring bike or something like that, you might be at 45, but I mean that's pushing it, I'd say, for these bigger bikes. So you're not getting, like, unless you're driving a truck that gets horrible gas mileage, you're not getting double, triple the gas mileage you're getting in a car, and you're filling up with premium. So motorcycling is most certainly an expensive hobby. So for those of you who are looking at getting into a motorcycle, Moreover, a Harley-Davidson, I mean, you can go buy, a CBR if you're looking for a sport bike or something like that, for pretty cheap. You can go buy a Kawasaki Cruiser for pretty cheap. My buddy just bought one for $4,000. So that stuff exists. It's out there. And you know what? The Lowrider ST, when they go used, you'll be able to buy this bike for cheap. But if you're, I would say a Lowrider ST or a Lowrider S is probably a bike that first time Harley buyers could get into. For us Harley guys, $21,749 for a new bike that has touring capabilities is kind of like, oh, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal in a lot of cases. But just know that if you're buying at this time, you're most certainly going to pay that surcharge price, which I think on the touring bikes was $1,000. And everything's kind of inflated, and there's a lot that goes into it. So when you see these cool videos of people online that are like, oh, look at this, I just bought this new tuner, and oh, I'm getting my bike dynoed, and oh, I got this new paint job, and all those things, like those are people who are really committed to the craft of just being a motorcycle rider and customizing their bike. So if you're just kind of like getting into it, just know that there are expenses that are involved. So again, y'all have seen my motorcycle, you know what it looks like, you know what I've got on it. If you've been watching the channel, I'm already $29,000 in. So again, just wanted transparency here so that everybody could see kind of what the current state of purchasing a new motorcycle is like. If you're interested, if you're a guy who's like, yeah, I'm getting into the Lowrider ST, and you're coming off of a sport bike that you paid $8,000 for, well, this is the kind of money that you're looking at spending. And I'm sure there are people out there that have their ways of saving money and whatnot, but if you're just a guy who's got a Harley dealer and you're doing all your work through them, I mean, these are the kind of prices that you're going to pay. So anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.